Maybe you remember learning about order of operations in your math class, and you'd remember saying, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally," or some other saying, and it seemed mundane. But in programming, you have to know it. It's very, very important. So I've created here just a brief summary of order of operations in mathematics, and PEMDAS, however, your math teacher wanted you to remember that. That was your basic order of operations, where P is to always do parentheses first, E is do exponents. Just for a reminder about exponents in Java, you do not use this key to do exponents in Java. That will be math.pow. That'll be in a different video that I'll make, but there's just a quick thing you could Google if you'd like to. Then you would do multiplication and division. Now, I put these arrows next to multiplication and division because you're supposed to do multiplication and division together all at the same time. If you were to go straight down the line, do all the multiplication and division together. I also put modulus falls here, or modular arithmetic falls here, however you want to say it. If you don't know what that is, you could also Google that or watch my other video on modular arithmetic. But modular arithmetic is a division problem, and so it would fall under this division step here. And then at the end, you always do addition and subtraction together, straight down the line, and that's why I tried to pair these together just with the stars or the asterisk symbols. So that's your basic order of operations. Now, if we were to talk about that with mathematics, and I'm just going to do some simple output statements here. If I were to create some math problems and just go 10 plus, I'll do something really basic here in the beginning, 10 plus 8 divided by 2. So it's important to know what the output's going to be in this problem. I don't do this left to right necessarily. I do it in the order of operations. So this lesson is basically just a review in basic mathematics, where the multiplication and division needs to come before the addition and subtraction. So I would need to do 8 divided by 2 and get the answer 4, and then 4 plus 10 is 14. So my answer should be 14 here. As opposed to, if I would have done 10 plus 8 is 16, and then 16 divided by 2, I would have gotten 8. It's very important, of course, that we do them in the correct order. Obviously, that's a classic example of if you and I don't do the problem in the same order, we're going to get different answers. That's a problem in mathematics, because the beauty of mathematics is there's a right answer and there's a wrong answer. There's a right answer and there's many wrong answers. But when I run this, just to show the output here, I should get that answer 14, because I had to do the division first. Now, as a quick warning on this, if I were to have built into this problem, I don't know if you noticed, but I had a 5 here, an odd number there. It's very important to know that this is an issue. Now, I do have another video on warning signs, dangers of mixing integers and doubles or integers and decimals, where that's what this problem will do. I'll cover it right now too, but you could watch that video if you need more help. But in this problem, if you were to follow order of operations, mathematically speaking, and if you know your mathematics, you'd say 5 divided by 2, well, that's 2.5. 2.5 plus 10 should be 12.5, and then when I run this, I don't get 12.5, I actually just get 12. And that's because the computer says, you gave me all integers, and that implies that you want an integer answer. Now, if you want an integer answer, that's great. It's gonna drop all the decimals. There's no memory to dump the decimals into because you have no double variables or double numbers here, no decimals. The output will always output the most accurate data type that you've included in your output statement or your print statement here. So if I were to just add a double, it seems really weird, but if I were just to go back to my output and put 2.0 here, that actually changes my output to 12.5. I'll run this to show you. It changes my output to 12.5. Now it's important to realize that I included a decimal in my whole calculation here. So the computer says, I'm going to use the most accurate data type that you gave me, and you gave me a double, so I'm going to give you a double answer. It creates memory for a double, and now it can actually output the decimal for you. So that actually covers something I had in another video that you could watch too. But and so all these order of operation problems basically are just mathematics questions. You just have to make sure that you calculate things in the correct order. So maybe I'll just add 9 minus 5 times 2 plus 7 minus 20 divided by 4. Okay, so you could pause the video if you want to, just to try to calculate this out to see if you can handle it before I actually run this. But when I do this, I have to make sure that I actually calculate the 5 times 2 first to get a 10, and the 20 divided by the 4 to get a 5. So I really have 9 minus 10, which is negative 1, plus 7, which is 6, minus 5, which is 1. So I'm hoping when I run this thing here, I'm going to get the output, the number 1. So again, just a review on some really basic order of operations, but it's very, very crucial in programming that you know your order of operations and also know what happens if you don't have decimal built into your calculation and your answer becomes a decimal.